All right, good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. So let's get started. Thank you all for joining us today for the International Love Data Week webinar series. This session is facilitated by Daniel Pitti. Dan is the Senior Operations and Data Analyst for the Career Center. He's going to talk about using publicly available data sources to analyze career outcomes and support informed decision making. If you have any questions throughout the session, please leave them in the chat. And without further ado, I'll hand it over to Dan.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have all been enjoying Love Data Week and had a chance to check out some of the other amazing sessions that have been held. As Ling said, my name is Dan Pitti. I'm the Senior Operations and Data Analyst at the Career Center here at Stony Brook University, and I'm going to speak to you today about publicly available data sources for academic program selection. So why does this data matter? How is it useful for any stakeholders that may be interested in it? The reasons that it could be valuable to a prospective student seem obvious. Students need to be able to make informed choices about the academic program that they enroll in. What are the potential career outcomes of the program? What is the typical return on investment? What are the retention and graduation rates, as well as tuition and any other costs that may factor in? In a time where people are increasingly wary about the costs of higher education, it's invaluable for stakeholders, whether that be students, their parents, etc., to have access to this type of information. However, the data is not only useful for prospective students. This publicly available data is of great use to administrators, faculty, and staff. It can be used for program evaluation, assessing labor market demands, enhancing career advising, and guiding strategic planning to improve student outcomes and institutional performance. So today I'm going to give an overview of a few tools that are available where you can research these publicly available data sources. We'll explore what type of data we can get from each, and then I'll show a brief demo of each tool in action. The first tool that we are going to cover today is the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. I really like this tool. I'm a big fan of it because it's very simple and intuitive to use. It has a very clean user interface, and that has a big impact on the overall usefulness of the tool for stakeholders. If you go to dive into it and you're like, I have no idea what to click, I don't know where to find anything here, that's an immediate roadblock. So it being very simple, very easy to use is a real advantage of this tool. And on this tool, they have a lot of data points available. So you can see median earnings, student debt, and program size available for many of the schools in the system. Sometimes you'll occasionally see data missing for a specific university, but it does have a large amount of data available. And one feature of this tool that is extremely useful is the ability to make side-by-side comparisons of either different colleges or fields of study that can aid in decision making. You can pull everything up together on one screen and just directly compare different programs and the outcomes of these programs. Finally, the data is very reliable. It is validated and maintained by the Department of Education, and data is sourced from iPads and from the National Student Loan Data System. So let's quickly hop over to College Scorecard, and we'll take a look at what the tool can do. So on the home page here, you can see that you can either search and compare colleges or fields of study. And it actually has these very nice quick search features. You could quickly search for a college near you. For now, we're going to focus on researching some fields of study. So you have drop-down menus here for field of study and for degree type. So we can take a look at accounting bachelor's degrees and hit search. Again, very simple, very easy to use. Once we have searched, you'll see this list of colleges with the specific academic program that you have researched. This is an example of how sometimes data might not be available for a certain university. However, most colleges will have information on this website. So you can filter by location, either near me, by zip code, or by state. Let's say we are only interested in New York State. And now that has updated. And again, you can see just a very simple overview of median earnings, median debt, the size of the graduating class. It's very useful for this kind of initial research phase when you just want to get basic numbers. All right, what is the return on investment of this program? How much student loans am I going to have? What am I going to make when I graduate? One feature I really, really love about this tool is the ability to save and export your searches. Actually, before I show that though, let's look at the comparison view. So you'll notice these little check marks next to each university name. Because we're searching for fields of study, by clicking this check mark, you will add that field of study to your compare view. So let's switch from accounting to, let's say, actuarial science. All right. And we've got some data here for CUNY Bernard Baruch College, and we'll add that to our field of study to compare as well. Now, over here in the top right corner of the page, you can see compare fields of study. Because we have two selected, we can just jump right into that. And this is the side-by-side comparison that I was showing earlier. Lets you very easily compare two different programs, two different fields of study, and get an overview of, which one seems to have the better return on investment. It is a very powerful tool. You can add up to 10 fields of study or 10 schools to the compare view at any time. Um, and again, just very, very simple to use. All right.
Excuse me, Dan. We have a hand
Yes.
up from
Oh,
Amy.
sorry about that.
Dan, just a quick
Um,
question. With the
yes.
search academic fields, it looks to me like that's tied to zip code. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. So it
Okay.
uses SIP codes. Academic programs are standardized using SIP codes. So, if a program has a slightly different name from one school to the other, they will be grouped together here. Now, that's actually a great point to bring up for students who are trying to search for fields of study in this. It may not be that clear what to pick. For example, say you're studying data analytics. That's not going to be something that comes up. That's generally going to be under computer and informational sciences dash general. I forget what the specific zip code is for that. But if you are advising students on how to use this tool, that would be something to keep in mind. It might not be the exact phrasing of their program name that they are thinking of. Really, just pick the closest one, or there's plenty of resources online to look up official zip codes and where your program might fall under. Moving to the next tool. This is another great one, the NCES College Navigator. For those of you who aren't familiar with NCES, that is the National Center for Education Statistics. The College Navigator contains a huge wealth of data on nearly 7,000 U.S. post-secondary institutions. Data is available on programs offered, retention and graduation rates, tuition and other costs, available financial aid, degrees awarded, campus safety, and several more data points. The user interface may seem a bit dated compared to College Scorecard, as you can see in this screenshot right here, but it's still a very intuitive platform and it offers very powerful search and filtering capabilities. Users can search by name of school, states they are interested in. It even has a map feature where you can pull up a map and click the states that you are interested in. Um, and sorry about that, I just lost my place. Specific academic programs, degree levels, institution types, many more filters. One feature that this tool has that I really love is the ability to save and export searches. So it's very common for a prospective student to become overwhelmed with their search process. They might just want to close out every window that they have open right now and come back to it later. With this feature, it makes that very simple. You can save your progress or export it to a Excel file and come back to your search later with a clear head. So let's dive into College Navigator a bit. So you can see here, you can search for a specific name of school, but for now, we will just go with, say, schools, once again, in New York. And just to demonstrate the map feature, if you click the map, it categorizes states by region. However, you can click and select any individual state on the map. And there you go. So now we're filtered on New York, and we can browse for specific academic programs. So we will go with Computer and Information Sciences and Support Services, and Computer and Information Sciences General. And it keeps breaking down to more specific categories. However, you can just add the entire category to your search. So here it says category, all 35 programs and majors that would be within computer and information sciences and support services. So we'll add that to our search, just close out. And we'll say we want to look at bachelor's degrees, and we don't care about what institution type it is. Just to point it out, there are more search options available. So you can filter on tuition and fees, undergraduate student enrollment, whether housing is available or not, what type of campus setting it is, rural, town, suburban, or city, the percentage of applicants admitted, and the 25th percentile of standardized test scores, as well as if there are varsity athletic teams, extended learning opportunities, any specific religious affiliation, or specialized mission. Again, it's a lot of filtering options available for you. Oh, I believe that just cleared my search. Bachelor's. Okay, perfect. So once you search, you will see this list of colleges. If you click into any of them, it gives you very rich information on that academic program. General information on admissions, total faculty, instructions, research, tuitions, fees, any costs associated with attending the school, financial aid available, the net price, so kind of the total cost for full-time beginning students, um, enrollment statistics, and it offers you some nice charts that are pre-made for you, and many others. It is really like a very in-depth overview of the academic program there. Campus safety statistics, everything like that. Now, just to go back to that list, well, actually, first at the top here, you could save your session. Just type in your email, it will send you a link, it will take you right back to this page. Very, very useful for any students, you have a crazy schedule or you just have to take a break from your search right now, but want to come right back to it. If you're in this flustered mind state, you may not remember what you were searching for previously, so it's nice to just be able to go right back to it. If we go back to our results, you'll see this Add to Favorites button right here. So if we add a few schools to our favorites, and then you scroll over My Favorites here, you can hit Check All and then Export. This will give you a nice little Excel file with some basic statistics on each of these schools. It doesn't go as in detail as the actual page when you click in, but you at least have something to reference if you want to go back to this web page and search. And again, it provides a very in-depth overview of each program. Really, any type of information you would want as a prospective student can be found here. I would highly recommend if you are advising students, and this works for graduate school as well. If you were to select advanced, say we have students that are about to graduate from undergrad, they're considering further education, great tool for them to use to research programs. Any questions on College Navigator? All right. So the third tool that I wanted to introduce is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, or NACE. I'm sure many of you working in higher education are familiar with NACE, the First Destination Survey. If you're not familiar with the term First Destination Survey, this is the survey that's typically distributed to graduates from universities to determine their career outcomes, whether that be continuing education, pursuing a career, or anything else really, joining the military, going for volunteer opportunities, whatever. Data on job placement, wages, starting salaries, and employment types are collected. And NACE requires that universities submit at least a bare minimum of this data each year. NACE makes this data publicly available on their First Destination Survey webpage. They provide annual reports and dashboards detailing outcomes by degree level, academic program, and demographics. It's an extremely useful tool when assessing the value of an academic program, with users very quickly able to view the career outcomes for whatever various programs they may be researching. So to take a look at NACE, this is the homepage for the First Destination Survey website. Actually, this is the homepage for the First Destination Survey website. And you can see they have graphical reports available. So we're going to look at the class of 2023. And if you download the report, they have this like wonderfully designed in-depth report of all of the statistics that were attained from the First Destination Survey. They give you a lot of charts. This is very good to share with, say, another stakeholder who's interested in it, who doesn't want to dive into a dashboard, or just to read and get an overview. It's good for sharing with whoever may be interested. But they also offer a dashboard on this data, which is fantastic. So when you first load up the dashboard, it is just generally for the class of 2023. You'll see that you can select and filter on degree level over here on the left-hand side, and it shows mean starting salary, total graduates. Knowledge rate is the percentage of students that we were able to track down data for. So not necessarily people who responded just to the survey, but maybe we got your information from LinkedIn or from a government data source or something like that. You can view outcomes by gender, by region, whether it was a public or private university. You can see their Carnegie classification, the school size, or specific academic programs. So I'm going to focus on this one for a little bit because this has the most filtering options available, is most directly relevant for academic program choice. So let's say that we want to look at computer and information sciences. And once again, we'll go with computer and information sciences general. So now we can see the mean starting salary for graduates of the class of 2023 who studied computer and information sciences general. Again, this is based on zip codes, so these are standardized names for programs. It will not probably be exactly the name of the program that a student is looking at a specific university. We can see mean starting salary, the total graduates, knowledge rate, and career outcomes rate. You can see the percentage that are employed overall, standard employed full-time, seeking employment, continuing education, seeking education, and every other possible post-graduation outcome that you may have, being an entrepreneur, going into freelance work, the military, service work, anything like that. And oh, you can make any individual visualization full screen. Say you wanted to just highlight something from here, put it into a presentation, just scroll over, you'll see focus mode. And that's very nice for just grabbing any of these individual visualizations. All right. Now, moving on to our final tool. This one is provided by SUNY, which is fantastic as it's very relevant to our students or students considering the SUNY system. SUNY graduate wage data. So the State University of New York provides interactive dashboards displaying the median wages of SUNY graduates by program and campus from 1 to 10 years post-graduation. As I mentioned earlier, this is another great source of reliable data. It's sourced from SUNY academic records combined with New York State Department of Labor wage data. And on these dashboards, stakeholders can filter and sort by field of study, degree type, and by campus. So hopping over to that tool very quickly, this is the homepage of the suny.edu/grad wages page. You can see frequently asked questions. They provide sources on how they sourced the data and what methodology they used. And then here we have our actual dashboard. So if we click into wages report, oh, sorry, this dashboard can be a little bit finicky. It's built with Power BI and they can just be a bit slow sometimes with the processing and everything. So here you can see a wages report. We have a lot of filtering options available up here. So for now, we'll just filter on degree award level. And then we'll go once again to Computer and Information Sciences and Support Services. And then we'll go with Computer and Information Sciences General. All right. So we can see that they have data for 137 graduates. And this is looking at 1 year after graduation. The percentage working in New York State is available. Here we can see it's 72.7%. The 25th percentile of their wage data. So the 25th percentile is making at least $30,997. And then you can see 50th and 75th percentile. You can also see the annual median wages by years after graduation. It's worth noting that this is in 2021 dollars, so it's not 100% accurate to current day. However, it's not that far off at this point. And you can see 1 year after graduation. If you scroll over any of the bars in the bar chart, you'll see that it provides this additional data in this tooltip right here. So it shows you the grad years, their wage years, what the 25th percentile median wage and 75th percentile are, how many grads are included in this data, and what the percentage working in New York State are. It's basically what is shown up top here, just all in one spot when you scroll over. Then you can see 2 years after graduation, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. It's a bit interesting to see the dip at 10 years as opposed to 5 years, but that's something that can be explored further in the data. It's interesting stuff that you can see from this. And then we have many different filtering options up top. So for example, there might be a graduate from the Computer and Information Sciences general program that even though we're filtering on bachelor's degrees awarded, they might have pursued further education after attaining that graduate degree before they entered the workforce. Up here, graduates continued their studies during the wage year. We can hit no. That will filter out any students who pursued further education while working after graduation. And then aside from the wages report, I'll go through one more of these just because of the long loading times. It's not SUNY's fault. It's a Power BI thing more than anything else. You can look at various student characteristics and their wages in relation to that. So we can select student characteristics such as sex, race or ethnicity, or whether or not they received a Pell Grant. There you go. And you can see median reported wages 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10 years after graduation. So actually, we see Pell Grant students are making great money 10 years out relative to non-Pell Grant students. Although, correlation does not equal causation. There's nuance to that data. All right. So those are the 4 tools that I wanted to show you guys today, and best practices for using this data. From the more student or prospective student perspective, reported career outcomes are not the only thing that matters with academic program selection. Sorry about that. You really need to factor in cost of living, industry demand, and regional employment trends to avoid making any misleading conclusions from this data. Obviously, it is past data and the job market changes very, very quickly. You'll want to do additional research when you are checking out any academic program to ensure that you're getting that proper return on investment. Faculty, administrators, and staff can use wage and employment data to highlight programs needing improvement or areas with strong growth potential for new offerings. And finally, I would say it is imperative that you regularly review this data to inform curriculum updates, resource allocation, and strategic planning for long-term program success. You don't want to have looked at this stuff, say, 2 years ago, and now you are continuing to give advice to students based on what you saw 2 years ago. Things change very rapidly. You want to make sure that you are giving students up-to-date information. All right. Thank you very much. I hope that that was informative for you all, and thank you for joining me today. I'm open to any questions that you all might have. Yes, Amy, and then Alfreda afterwards.
I was just clapping, no questions.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was a raised hand. Thank you for
Yeah,
the claps, everybody.
yeah, I was just clapping too. Great job, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Excellent.
All right. So thank you for a great and very informative presentation, Dan, and happy Love Data Week, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Happy Love Data
Bye.
Week.